Hello everybody, welcome to another After Effects tutorial. My name is Buddy Blackford and today I want to go over some typography rules so you guys know what to do and what not to do when you are creating your text. So you may know how to use the text tool and everything in After Effects, but when you start creating your stuff, it looks unprofessional and people say it sucks when you try to have them critique it and you get all mad and can't figure out what's going on. So I'm going to give you some basic rules to follow so you don't have to deal with that and you already know what's happening. So when you sometimes when you give your first rendition of what you're making to your client and he sees that it looks unprofessional and your typography is all messed up, sometimes they don't even respond back to you, and that's happened to me before when I first started out and I didn't know why, and then I figured it out because my stuff looked unprofessional, so he didn't even bother, and then you don't get paid and you waste your time. So let's start out. What I'm gonna do is have the incorrect way for you to have your paragraph or typed out here, and then at the bottom I'm going to have the correct way. I am going to pause the video at times so you don't have to watch me type, and then I'll have everything just typed up the correct way and the incorrect way to show you what's good and what's not good. So I'm going to pause now and I'm going to type in the correct way. Actually, the first thing I wanted to tell you is the definition of typography, in case you were like, what the hell is he talking about? So typography is, and I'm reading this off Wikipedia, is the art and technique of arranging type in order to make the language it forms most appealing to transparent learning and recognition. So basically what it means is making your text look cool and appealing. So the first thing that we want to go over is having too many typefaces. So I'm going to type out that stuff now and then come back. So see you in a second. Alright, so as I said, having too many typefaces looks bad. So what I've got up here on the top, I've got a certain text, and then I've got another text that has a typeface that's too big, and then I've got a different font here, and then here's another font. I hope you guys know what that one is. Please don't use that one. And then we're going on through more different fonts going on here, and you can tell that does not look professional at all. So you want to just stick with one or two fonts, and these are the same font and they're in the same font family. So what I've got on this one is Myriad Pro, and the top section here is bold condensed, and then I'm down here and I've got regular, and that's what everything else is in the paragraph. So this is correct, and this is incorrect. So the next one I want to go over is spacing. This is a rule where you don't want to crowd your text too much. It's hard to read, and I mean, when you first look at it, it's like kind of daunting for everybody. You also don't want to space out your text too much, because then it just looks like the words aren't like in a sentence together, if you can understand that. So the correct way is to adjust your spacing so it's in a visually appealing way. If you have a lot of stuff in your text and you can't fit it onto your page, you just want to maybe like select a condensed font, or just shrink it down in font or size. That way you're not like everything has some like breathing room, I guess. And don't limit it to just your text. You also don't want to have it like right up against the edge of the page. You want to give yourself some room so it looks nicely spaced. The next rule I wanted to go over with you guys is don't use too many fancy decorative fonts. So I mean, you found one that looks cool and you're using it, but don't overdo it. If you look at this real quick, can you read it in like a second and figure out what's going on, or is this really, really hard to read? Now, if you really needed to use a fancy font, limit your use like in the correct way here, and just make sure that you're not blasting out all caps and all that stuff. So just pretty much just limit the use of your fancy fonts. They don't need to be used on everything. The next rule that I want to go over is readability. So you want to make sure that people can easily read what's going on and it does not hurt their eyes. So you don't want dark text on top of a dark background. You also don't want like small font on top of a high contrasted background. So it's going to be like hard on someone's eyes. So when you look at this one here, it seems to be like giving you like flashing like in your eyes. It's weird looking and I hate it. So be careful of going across an item in the background. Make sure it looks nice on the eyes, and be aware of your colors that are in the background and make sure that they are like a good color palette so you can figure out what looks good together. I mean, obviously this does not look good together. When you're working with a color, and I'll just fix these up real quick. I have this locked. Let's just make this like red, bright red, and the text, we can make that like, here's a typical thing that people used to do back in the day when we made our like when people were making their websites. And I can make this bigger. Almost done, sorry. So here we got some really bright text onto a really bright background. And this hurts people's eyes also. And to be honest, sometimes just black and white for your text is the best because it's not like so crazy bright. If you're gonna use color, I always suggest not having it at full blast, so desaturate it a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. If I go to my color picker here, the color isn't blasted all the way to the end, and it's not all the way up to the brightest, and it's not down here to the darkest. So it's in the middle, and it's not like touching the edge of your color picker here.